Hello everyone, this is Stephen Balch, your instructor for Computer Applications Online at Ozarka College. In this part 2 of Word Module 3, I'm going to take you from pages WD 3-24 to page WD 3-39 in your textbook. In the part 1 of the video, we created the letterhead for the business letter. And in this part 2, I'm going to take you through the process of creating the body of the letter. Alright, and the various components. If you'll notice on the top of page 3-24 in your book, it wants us to save this letterhead with a different name. So to do that, we're going to click File on the ribbon, and we're going to click on Save As, and then Browse. And in the file name box, we're going to type in what's shown there on step 1 on page 3-24. So, go ahead and type that in. Okay. Once you get that typed in, you're going to make sure you're saving it in the location where you save all your other Word documents for this class, so that you're able to find it when you get ready to submit it later. Alright, and then we're going to click on Save. Alright, so now that we've got this saved as a letter, we're going to go ahead and go through the process of formatting the letter and adding the text for the main part of the letter. You'll notice there on page 3-25, it gives you information about the various elements of a business letter, including the date line, inside address, salutation, message, closing or complimentary close, and the signature block. And it also gives you the spacing guidelines between each component of the letter. Alright, so you'll need to kind of study that on page 3-25. Alright, first thing we need to do in this letter is we need to apply the no spacing style in the Styles Gallery. So we're going to go to the Home tab, and first thing is make sure that your insertion point is on the paragraph mark below the bottom border that separates the letterhead from the main part of the letter. So just make sure your insertion point is on this blank paragraph mark below the letterhead. Alright, and then what you're going to do is find the Styles Gallery on the Home tab and click on the No Spacing Style. Alright, what that does is that applies no spacing throughout the main part of the letter, and that allows us to add the spacing between the components of the letter with the enter key rather than with the built-in or default spacing between paragraphs that Word normally uses. Okay? Alright, so the next thing we need to do is we're doing what's called a modified block style letter, and it talks about this on page 3-25 in your book in the Consider This section under What are the common styles of business letters. So if you're not sure about the different styles of business letters, you might read through that. But like I said, the letter that we're going to do in this module is the modified block letter, where all the components of the letter start at the left margin except for the date line, the complimentary close, and the signature block. And those are all positioned basically left aligned at the center point of the page. And we'll actually need to set a tab in order to align the date and complimentary close and signature block. That's what we're going to learn how to do next. So on page 3-26, what we want to do, if the ruler does not already display in your document window, you'll need to go ahead and click View up on the ribbon, and then click on ruler in the show section. Okay, just make sure your ruler is displayed on the ribbon. Alright, once we've done that, in order to set a tab to position our date line in our complimentary close and signature block, we're going to set a 3.5 inch tab. But before we do that, we need to press enter one time so that we have a blank paragraph between the letterhead and the date line that we're about to enter. Okay? And then what we're going to do is to set our 3.5 inch tab, we're going to click the tick mark on the ruler at the 3.5 inch mark. Okay? So we're going to click right there. You'll notice it adds a little left align tab marker on that tick mark on the ruler. Alright? If you don't get it right the first time, just keep trying it until you get it. But you should see a little left align tab marker on the ruler at the 3.5 inch mark. Once you've done that, once you've set the tab, you're going to press the tab key on your keyboard, and it moves you over to that tab stop. It moves your insertion point over to that tab stop. And then what we're going to do is insert the current date into our letter. The way we're going to do that is we're going to click Insert up on the ribbon, and on the right hand side under Text, in the text group, you should see a Date and Time button. You're going to click on that. It opens up the Date and Time dialog box, and then we're going to choose the correct format for the date, which is the third option where it says September 4th, 2019. That is the standard format for business letters. It's basically the month, and then the day of the month, comma, and then the year. Alright? So once you get that selected, you're going to click OK, and it'll insert the current date into the letter. And then we're going to insert the inside address and salutation as indicated there on the bottom of page 3-28. So with the insertion point at the end of the date that we just entered, we're going to press enter 3 times because we want 2 blank lines, 2 blank paragraphs between the date line and the inside address. Okay? So once you've hit enter 3 times, we're going to type in what's shown there on steps 2, 3, and 4 at the bottom of page 3-28. So, writer's name, which is or actually the recipient's name, not the writer's name. The recipient's name, you're going to write that in, or type that in and press enter. And then you're going to type the address. And then press enter. Type in the city, state, and postal code. Just make sure you type that correctly because obviously that date is important to make sure the letter gets to where it's supposed to be. Alright, once you get the inside address typed in, you're going to press enter twice, just as it says to do on step 4 there on page 3-28. Alright, and then we're going to type in the salutation. Alright, and that is just basically Dear Caleb, comma. Alright, so we've entered our salutation. Now we're going to press enter twice. And then we're going to start typing the first body paragraph of our letter, which is shown on step 6 on the bottom of page 3-28 and continues on to page 3-29 in your book. So we're going to go ahead and type that in. And keep in mind that the text does continue on the top of page 3-29. So just keep typing until you get it all typed in. Alright, once you get the first paragraph of the body typed in, you're going to press enter twice so that we leave a blank line between the first paragraph and the second. And then you're going to start typing the second paragraph, second body paragraph, which is shown there on step 8 on the top of page 3-29. Alright, and then once you type that in, it wants us to press enter twice and save the letter again by clicking the save button on the quick access toolbar. Alright, and we're leaving a space there because what we're about to do is insert a table that's going to show the schedule for the new students. Okay, so once we've saved the portion of the letter that we've got done so far, you'll need to kind of read through about tables on the bottom of page 3-29, and then on page 3-30 to insert the table. We're going to make sure the insertion point is still positioned on the second blank paragraph below the text that we just typed. Just kind of look in your book and make sure that it's in the right position according to the figure on page 3-30 in your book. And then we're going to click the Insert tab up on the ribbon, and then we're going to click the Table button. When you click the Table button, you'll see the Insert Table dialog box appear, and it will allow us to choose how many columns we want in our table. And in our case, we want 3. So we're going to click where it says 3x1 table. Basically the same way that it shows it there on the picture on the bottom of page 3-30 in your book. So we're going to click on 3x1 table. And that just inserts 1 row and 3 columns in the table, which is what we want to start with. And then you're going to make sure that the insertion point is in the far left cell in your table, and we are now ready to enter the data into the cells of the table. And so on the bottom of page 3-31, we're going to type date into the far left cell in the table. So we're going to insert date as a title, basically. So date, and then you're going to press tab to move from one column to the next. In a table, you just use your tab key. Alright, then on the top of page WD 3-32 in your book, it wants us to type event in that middle column, and then press tab, and then type notes in the far right column. Alright, once you get one row typed into your table, and you're ready to insert the next row, just press tab, and it will automatically insert another row in the table for you. Alright, and then we're going to do steps 1, 2, and 3 there on page 3-32 under to enter more data in a table. Alright, so you're just going to type that in, and remember to use the tab key to move from one column to the next. Okay, and then I'm going to insert this last one, August 23rd. Fall term begins. And then tab, and then type in first day of classes under the notes column. Alright, just kind of check your table against the figure 3-43 there on page 3-32 in your book, just to make sure you have everything typed correctly in your table. Alright, next thing we're going to do, to make the table look a little bit more professional, we're going to add a table style. So on the very bottom of page 3-32, under to apply a table style, we're going to first make sure that our insertion point's still somewhere in the table, and then we're going to go up to the Table Tools Design tab up on the ribbon, and it wants us to make sure that first column is not selected in the table style options on the far left of the Table Tools Design tab. Alright, so we want to click the little checkbox where it shows first column there on the left side of the Table Tools Design tab, to remove the check from the checkbox next to first column. Alright, and it explains in your book why we're doing that, so just kind of look through that in your book. Alright, once we've done that, we want to make sure our insertion point's still somewhere in the table, and we're going to go up to the Table Styles More button right here on the Design tab, and when you click that down arrow or the More button, it just opens up the full gallery of styles that we can apply to our table. And then just look at the picture there on page 3-33, and it points to the style that we want to add to our table. It's called Table 1 Light Accent 2. Okay, so you're going to apply that table style, and you'll notice that it adds the color and the style, that particular style, to the table. So just kind of check it against the one that's in the book there. Alright, once we've done that, on page 3-34, it wants us to position the pointer at the boundary above the column to be selected, the third column in this case, so that the pointer changes to a downward pointing arrow. Alright, so to do that, what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to add a row. Oh no, we're not doing that yet. We want to select a column of the table so that we can italicize it. And so we're going to point to the upper border above column 3 of the table, the notes column, where the mouse pointer changes to a down pointing arrow, and then we're going to click with the mouse and it selects that column. And once we've selected the column that we want to apply the italic formatting to, we're just going to go to the Home tab and click on the Italic button. You can also press Control-I on your keyboard. That's the keyboard shortcut for italicizing text. So you can do it either way, but either way you just need to italicize the text in that last column of the table, and then just click somewhere in the table to deselect that text. Alright, now we're ready to insert another row in the table. A lot of times when you're working in a table, you'll forget to insert a particular row of the table. So in your book, it's going to have us learn how to insert a row after we've created the table. Alright, so what we want to do is position the pointer to the left of the table between the rows where we want to add a row to the table. Alright, and so basically you can look at the picture there on page 3-36 and see where it wants us to point to in the table. Basically, on the insert control to the left of the table, right in between rows 3 and 4. Alright, so just make sure your pointer is on that insert control between the columns 3 and or rows 3 and 4 in your table, and then you're just going to click that insert control, and it will basically insert a row in the table. And then what we're going to do is type in the information for that row, which is shown on step 3 on the bottom of page 3-36 in your book. So we're going to type in August 16th through the 20th. Tab. Remember, you can use tab to move from one column to the next in your table. And then get schedule during orientation. Alright, then just check your table against the example there on the top of page 3-37. Make sure you have all the text correct in your table, and make sure you have that you inserted that row in the right place. Okay? Alright, so we've got that done. Now what we're ready to do is on the bottom of page 3-37, we need to click the paragraph mark below the table and press enter, and then we're going to start typing the text that goes below the table in the letter. Alright, so we're going to type in before orientation you must do the following through our campus website, and then press enter. And then on the top of page 3-38, it wants us to insert a bulleted list. Now you could just click the bullets button to bullet a paragraph, but in your book here it's wanting you to learn how to use the keyboard to bullet a list as you type. So instead of clicking on the bullets button, we can also press or type in the asterisk on our letter. So we can type in an asterisk here and then press the space bar, and it automatically changes the asterisk to a bullet. Okay? That's part of the auto format as you type feature of Word. Alright? And then what we're going to do, once we've got a bulleted paragraph there, we're going to type in what's shown there on step 3 on page 3-38. Complete a housing contract or housing exemption form. Then press enter. You'll notice it automatically bullets the next paragraph, which is what we want. And then we're going to type the next bulleted paragraph, which is shown on step 4 on the bottom of page 3-38. So schedule your math placement exam. And then press enter. And then the last bulleted paragraph, it shows you also on step 4 on the bottom of page 338. So reserve your orientation dates. And then you're going to press enter. And then you're going to press enter one more time to remove the bullets, to kind of turn off those automatic bullets. Alright. Now, with the insertion point on the paragraph mark below the bulleted paragraph, on page 3-39, we're going to press enter one more time because we want a blank line between the bulleted list and the next paragraph that we're about to type in our letter. Alright, and so we're going to type in what's shown there on step 1 under to enter more text and then save the letter on page 3-39. So I am confident you will pursue your passions and accomplish your goals at Sunset actually wait a minute goals as a Sunset State Flying Eagle. Make sure you type the punctuation at the end of that sentence. Alright, then you're going to press enter twice. And basically, we've got the body paragraphs of the letter completed, and now we're ready to enter the complimentary close and the signature block. Now remember though, on a modified block letter like we're doing in this particular module, the date line and the complimentary close and the signature block are all left aligned at the 3.5 inch mark. So before we type in the closing, we're going to need to press the tab key on our keyboard to move to that 3.5 inch tab stop that we set earlier for the date line. Alright, once we've done that, we're going to type in the closing, which in this case is sincerely, comma, then you're going to press enter 4 times. And the reason that we do that is when you press enter 4 times after the closing, it leaves 3 blank lines, 3 blank paragraphs, which is the perfect amount of space in order for the writer of the letter to sign his or her name in between the closing and the signature block. Alright? Alright, once we've done that, once we've hit enter 4 times there, we're going to press tab, because obviously we want the signature block, basically the writer's name of the signature block, to be in line with the closing. And we're going to type in the writer's name there, just shown on step 3. Alright, and then we're going to press enter and then tab again, and we're going to type in the writer's position right below the writer's name, which is Director of Admissions. Okay? And once we've got all that done, we're going to click the Save button to save our changes that we've made to our letter. And at this point, you would need to look in your book at the examples in your book and make sure that you've got all the text typed correctly and the proper spacing between elements of your letter. Just kind of double check everything. And this is the end of this particular part of the video. In the last video for this module, I will take you through the steps in creating the second page of the letter, which is going to be a schedule for new students. Alright, we're going to use SmartArt graphics to do that. So I will see you in the next video.